Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Shit's Hard. I'm your host, Amber. And today we're talking about being a woman because that shit is fucking hard. So we're going to get into it today. Okay. This could be a few episodes long, but we'll keep it a little bit focused today. If you're watching the video, you might notice that my microphone stand is broke thanks to Princess. To be fair, it's on me. It was sitting on the edge of my bed. And she was laying on my bed, and then she got up and she knocked it on the floor. And I was like, okay, no biggie. And then I came over and got it because I was going to record. And then I noticed that she's snapped. She's dangling by a thread here. That literally just happened like 10 minutes ago. But the microphone still works, so that's good. And we're going to have to get a little ghetto with it and just glue it back, which is going to probably not look great. So don't be judging me for my makeshift glued microphone stand, okay? But let's get into it. Being a woman. Okay, so I've obviously a million thoughts on this, but today we're going to focus on like being a woman in a male-dominated space. And then within that, we're going to kind of talk about like comparison to other women, like comparing yourself to other women, and kind of like jealousy type of stuff. This is all going to be mostly in regards to the gym, because that's like my personal experience and my lived every day. But let's get into it because this is like it's an interesting topic. This idea was sparked from a conversation I had honestly a while ago. But the conversation had me heated. And so I like got on my Google Doc content thing. And I was like, I'm going to talk about this because I'm mad. So let's get into it. Let's get into it because I feel very strongly about women. So let's talk about the controversy around women's attire. I don't know if any of you saw, this was like a while ago, okay? So like bear with me. But there was like a tweet like that was going viral for whatever reason. Like it was going around because this guy was like, women shouldn't wear yoga pants in the gym. And then everyone was quoting it and was like, you're a moron, like you're a fucking idiot. That should be reserved for the home. Like you're not leaving anything up to the imagination or some bullshit, obviously. Fucking men being men. But yeah, that kind of sparked my attention and kind of caused this conversation I had with someone in the gym about like what women wear in the gym and is it for attention? And the person that I was talking to, funny enough, when I had this conversation with this person, we were not that close. And after this conversation was fuming. Funny enough, right now we're like really close. We're like good friends. So it's interesting how we got there. But this specific person was kind of just talking about like what women wear in the gym and how like if you wear like short biker shorts and like a tight top or whatever, that like you're, obviously guys are going to stare and like that doesn't make it right. But like if you don't want stares, you shouldn't dress that way kind of take. You can imagine me. Immediately, I went from 0 to 10, and I was like, what we're not going to do is put the blame on women, ever, in the slightest. And so the conversation was going around like, I can't even fucking remember. It was like women taking selfies in the bathroom mirror at the gym, because that's also kind of like a controversial thing at the gym, but also my gym put a ring light in there. So like, I think since you put a ring light in there, you were kind of like telling women that it's okay to take selfies in here. But also, obviously, there's other women changing in there. So if you're going to take selfies, you need to be respectful of other people being in the shot, which is fair. Like, definitely. I like when I'm taking my selfies and someone walks in, I try to like stop and give it a rest because I don't want to make them uncomfortable being in the background of my picture or whatever. That's understandable. But it was like women were taking like, like progress type of photos in the gym and like posting it and like tagging the gym and whatever. And it was like, oh, should the gym be reposting these stories or photos or not? Because, the photos are a little revealing. But also, like, I think for the women that were taking them, it was also like, it was a progress photo. This is the gym. This is like, that's kind of like part of the thing here is like you're working on your physical appearance, possibly. And so, I don't know. We were having this conversation, this back and forth, and I was like, I disagree, which this person had never seen me work out either, because usually I work out earlier in the day. So I was like, I don't know if you know, but this is what you're describing is me in this conversation. So I don't know if you're telling me that I'm asking for it. But it was a very healthy, like respectful conversation about like women in the gym. And this specific person actually doesn't dress like very like feminine. There's more like loose fitting clothes, and had kind of mentioned in the conversation that was like they just don't feel comfortable doing that, which is like great. You should wear what you're comfortable wearing. Other women should wear what they're comfortable wearing, and we should all move about our day. But I was confused during the conversation because I was like, can you show me an example of what these women are wearing that's, that we're talking about, Like, because sure, there's a line, of course. There's like kids here at the gym. But like, let's get a real example. So they had showed me this video of this girl just from Instagram, and they were like, stuff like this. And she was wearing like short biker shorts and like a crop top, long sleeve, zip up, tight on tight. But I was looking at this video and I was like, this is exactly something I would wear. So for one, like, do you not know that? Like, interesting. But also, she was the girl in the video was very, very thick. Like, she had a nice hourglass. She looked like this. If you're watching the video, she was curvy as fuck. And so my question after that video was, I was like, is she dressing slutty or does she just have a fatty? Like, I was like, because that's also something that I experience in the gym. Is like, I'm not super curvy. Not even in the gym, just in general, in life in general. I'm not super curvy. I don't have a lot of cleavage usually. I have to like work for that to get that. And so it's like, if you saw me in that outfit, you might not have the same opinion. You know what I mean? If you saw a girl who wasn't super curvy in that outfit, you probably would be like, this is just a girl going to the gym and wearing workout attire. But since she fills that clothing out, is that why we have an opinion on what she's wearing now? You know what I mean? Like, is it now slutty because like she has an ass, has whatever? Because that's something I feel like we don't always take into account is people look at these women who are just naturally very curvy. Again, like they just have fucking tits. Like, what can they do about that? And they like struggle to find clothing that doesn't just like have them busting out, because it's hard when you have like the large ass fucking tits to like not put them away. And I think that's like a real problem that women with a bigger chest struggle with. And so I think it's an interesting thing to think about is like when you have that dialogue in your mind of like, oh, what is she wearing? Ask yourself, like, if I saw somebody else who was like a stick figure in this outfit, would I have the same thoughts? No? Okay, then like then what she's wearing is totally fine and acceptable, and it's just her body. And if you have an issue with her body, which genetically just fucking looks like that, like she doesn't have a fucking choice, like, then I think we need to reel it in a little bit. But the same thing goes for like, because don't even get me wrong. I do this shit too. Like, absolutely, I will have my inner dialogue in my head. I'll see a girl who's super beautiful, whatever. She's super curvy, something. I'll have a thought in my head that's like, why is she wearing that? And then I will catch myself and I'll be like, Amber, why do you give a fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. We all fucking do this shit in our head. For some reason, we have this subconscious, probably from society, has like made us this way, has like caused us to just like naturally ask that fucking question and see women, and especially being a woman who, unfortunately, sometimes we naturally compare ourselves to other women. And we might feel a little bit jealous. I know I do. Like, I literally the other day in the gym was looking at this girl and I was like, she's fucking beautiful. She looks amazing. Her waist is so small. Her ass is big. Like, and I felt myself like getting jealous of her. And I was like, Amber, call yourself out for that shit. I was like, she's literally just existing. Like, truly, she's just existing. And you're internalizing it because you wish you looked like her. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with being like, oh, she looks really good. As long as you can call yourself out on it. And I can be like, something that can be hard to come to terms with is like, she can look good and I can look good too. And those things can like both be true. And we can look different too. Like, this is all so very true, is like multiple women can be beautiful who all look different. And so it's like, and I try to like literally catch myself on this and call myself out for it and remind myself like, you don't need to be comparing yourself to them. There's no reason for it. I was just having a conversation the other day with this girl at work. She's so cute. She was showing me this girl who has this hourglass fucking figure. And it was on YouTube. So the girl with the hourglass posted on YouTube, like, how to get an hourglass or whatever the fuck. She had her before, she had her after, and whatever. And so she's showing me this video because I'm a trainer. And she was like, Amber, I have a question. Like, how do you get this hourglass? I'm like, I love this question. Let's talk about it. Let's talk. And so I kind of took a look at her, the girl, and I was like, first things first, this is probably mostly genetics. like to an extent, we can do a lot in the gym. but we really can't do that much aesthetically. It's almost the equivalent of height is a good thing to think about. I'm 5'4". There's nothing I can do in the gym to get me to 6 foot. There just isn't. It's just not what I look like. And the same thing can go for like an hourglass or like you can build certain things and certain muscles, of course, but like with the waist, it can be really hard because some people just naturally, it looks like that. And so we talked a little bit about like, upper body and your traps. And I kind of talked a little bit about, I used to hate my shoulders. I have kind of broader shoulders and I always felt like they were really big. And like certain dainty tank tops, I just hated myself in them because I looked like a fucking boy. Like I looked like a man. Again, I don't have a fucking bigger chest either. And so in these small little tank tops, I have like big shoulders. I'm like more like strong in my upper body too. And so I used to hate myself in them, because I just felt like I didn't look feminine at all. And then I just kind of was like, started to change my perspective on fitness, started to switch to more like mental stuff. And I realized that since I have broader shoulders and they come out more, it also gives me more of a taper. Because I have like that my shoulder comes out. And so it makes my waist look smaller. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I can get on board with that. Like, and I was talking to this front desk girl and I was like, core is a really hard one, especially for women. It's extremely hard to like even get abs for women. Like we have more fat there. We just in general have more body fat than men. It's much easier for them. But I was like, I mean, also a lot of core stuff comes from diet. I've noticed, at least with myself, like I've noticed that I personally, for a long time when I was younger, when I was like working out a shitload, playing a lot of sports, doing a lot of core, I had a really strong core. Like I could definitely like do all those workouts and stuff, but I never had abs. And I always thought that was weird, but I was like, I think it's just because abs is a fucking tough one for women. We have a lot of fucking fat here, for one. For two, it's a lot to do with diet as well. Like if you actually want abs, you have to get into your diet and shit. But I started to like really take a step back and I was like, let's evaluate, like, what do I actually give a fuck about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need a six pack, I don't think. If you do, and that's a goal for yours, I love that for you too. Like, fuck it up. Like, achieve your fucking goals. Do it. But for me, I was like, it's not important to me, Like, and so we had this conversation at the front desk about this girl in this video. And I was like, what I do think is a little bit shitty is that this girl decided to make this video and kind of like try to profit off of like her routine and like show like, oh, you can look like me if you do this. And which is just majority of the time simply not true. And so I think it's important, like, to, when you're taking a look at fitness stuff on the internet, always be thinking about genetics. Like, always be thinking in the back of your mind, genetics. And I had this conversation with another friend at work as well, because she's always like, dude, you eat a fuckload. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I have really strong feelings about, like, diets and intuitive eating, and like that's kind of my outlook on training. Is I like try to be very like fitness and like this health stuff can fit into your life. We don't have to take anything out of your diet. Absolutely don't restrict yourself. I don't really believe in diets. They're a short-term fix for a long-term goal. It just doesn't work, at least long-term. Unsustainable diet probably means an unsustainable outcome. But whatever. Anyways, back to what I was fucking saying. I was going down such a fucking rabbit hole. But my friend, so my friend, she was explaining to me that she was telling me that I eat a fuckload, which is true. Like, I'm always fucking munching. And it's like a thing at the gym when someone brings in food, like a lot of the trainers like won't eat it, or they'll be like, that's not in my macros. Not even a lot of the trainers, just a few of them. We're all very different, to be honest with you, which is really cool. We have like a wide array of trainers. But like people will make comments that like whenever there's like fucking food at the gym, like, Amber, you're always munching. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm always fucking munching. I'm the trainer who brings in fucking cookies for the other trainers. Like, I'm like, yeah. And my one friend was talking to me about it, and I was like, I believe in intuitive eating and all this stuff. And she was like, yeah, but like you do have to admit also at the end of the day, like you genetically look like this. And I was like, yeah, like I shouldn't push my narrative too much on like, oh, like you can look like me if you eat like and still eat this or whatever. You know what I mean? Because truly at the end of the day, I genetically look like this. Like naturally I do kind of have like a little bit of an hourglass, whatever, a taper. Like this is just what my body looks like. And it's like I was explaining to the girl at the front desk too, when we were talking about this hourglassing, because I was like, I love this conversation. But I was like, you and me, if we did the same workout for months, even years, we stuck to the same program, even if we ate the same foods every day for years, we wouldn't look the same. We would both be fit and strong, sure, but at the end of the day, we have different genetics, you know? And that plays a really huge role in aesthetics. And so I think that's something to come to terms with too, is like, if you can make that mindset shift within your fitness journey and mental stuff from like physical to mental, I just feel like the longevity will take you much further. When I stopped fixating and focusing on these physical things that I did like about myself and I didn't like about myself and I wanted this and I wanted that, my motivation for the gym got significantly better. When I stopped putting this pressure to look a certain way physically, and I just put the pressure on feeling a certain way. And I knew if I go to the gym and I get a little sweat in, I'll feel significantly better. And it's the same thing with like, I don't always give 110% when I'm in the gym. You know, sometimes I give 60, but at least I was there. I got a sweat in and I felt mentally better. And that's so much more important to me now. That's a really good like mindset shift that I had to make. But I've been better off since. So I would encourage you to do that. But let's get back to fucking women, because I feel like we kind of got off track. Okay. So what I was going to say is when I had this conversation with the front desk girl, we talked a little bit about like, and she had mentioned to me, she was like, it's kind of hard, like working at a gym and seeing these like really beautiful, fit, strong women come in and kind of comparing yourself to them. And I was like, you know what it is? I was like, yeah, it is kind of hard being in a gym. And of course you see other women who are strong and look fucking amazing. And of course you're like happy for them and you're like, get it, fucking bad bitch. But of course there's a little part of you that's like, oh, like, I wish I looked like that. I wish I had that ass. I wish I whatever, you know, I wish I looked like her. And she said the same thing like about me. She was like, it's hard, like even like, she was like, I compare myself to you. And I was like, I get it. I was like, I do the same thing of course. But I was like, if you can make that mindset shift from physical to mental and just kind of like appreciate the aesthetic goals that come along with your fitness journey along the way. And I was like, honestly, the fix for that though, I was like, is spend more time in the fucking mirror. And I was like, dude, straight up. And I was like, I do this and I've like done this so fucking much. Like if you're my friend, you know me, like if I'm looking in a mirror, I'm being really fucking annoying. On purpose though, purposely I'm doing this. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like purposely fixing on the things that I like about myself. And I have to remind myself to like make that change and stop fixing on the things that I don't like about myself. And I have them, of course. Like, don't you fucking worry. I of course have things about myself that I don't physically like. And I do like actively maybe try to work on them if I can, but I also try to like accept them and just acknowledge that like this is a part of life and I have a body that's ever changing, and like just like try to appreciate the things that I do have that I like about myself. And that does fucking wonders of spending time in front of the mirror. Absolutely, I'd recommend that if you feel like you struggle with like your like self-confidence and like comparing yourself to other people and other women. Spend time in front of the mirror before you get in the fucking shower. Do it fucking naked. Like spend time looking in the mirror and purposefully pay attention and be so intentional about how you're talking about yourself in your head and make sure the connotation is positive. Like that's all I have to say about it. Say whatever you fucking want, whatever's on your mind, but spend time in front of the mirror, fucking naked, like we're doing this shit. And just make sure everything is positive. Just have some positive things to say about yourself. And maybe even like take a look at the things that you're not so crazy about yourself and like take a look at them and like accept them and recognize like, you know, it is what it fucking is. It doesn't make you fucking atrocious. And also recognize that probably you're the one who fixates on that the most. Nobody else probably even notices that about you. But accept those things for as you are. You don't have to fucking hate them or ignore them. Like they're a part of this too. And I feel like that has been really good for my like mental health and state in comparison to other women. And I said this to her too. I said, you know, some days are better than others. Like truly at the end of the day, some days I come in the gym and I'm like, fuck, that girl's so fucking pretty. I wish I looked like her, whatever. But like for the most part, if you focus on positive, intentional thinking about yourself and your body and whatever, it does get like better. And the majority of the days are not like that, you know, like truly. Some of them, you know, we're just fucking human and we go up and down and that's just like fucking life. We can't be like perfect all the time. But if you have that positive connotation around yourself and your body, I think hopefully you'll be able to see some really cool like mental shift. And then also focusing on that mental shift with other women and that jealousy thing of like when you see another girl and you're like, oh, like she's so fucking pretty, like, and it almost makes you like hate her, and you're like, you almost like don't like her because of this, which is totally normal. We do this. We're human. We experience jealousy. That's a thing. But just try to catch yourself. Just literally try to, like, in your head, like, this is what I do in my head. I'm like, Amber, why do you care? I'm like, Amber, she's not a bitch because she looks better than you. Okay, like that's just, she doesn't. She's not. And so I try to catch myself and ask myself, like, why? Like, if I'm in my head, I'm like, why is she wearing that? I will literally pause and say, Amber, why do you care? Why do you care why she's wearing that? There's no good fucking answer to that, Amber. So shut the fuck up and quit being a bitch. Quit being a judgmental, whatever. And literally, I do this in my fucking head. Like, I'm dead fucking ass. I talk to myself in my head and I'm like, quit being an asshole. But yeah, so that's the jealousy thing. But let's get into, like, there was something that in that conversation I had a long time ago with that friend that they had said something like, oh, if you dress like that, you better expect stares. And that resonated with me. That got my blood boiling. And I was like, I got something to say on this one is, you should wear whatever you feel comfortable wearing to the gym. To be honest with you, with my own attire in the gym has changed a lot over the years. Back when I was 16, 18, got to college, I was only wearing like t-shirts and running shorts, very loose clothes, which is totally fucking fine if you wear that, by the way. Again, wear whatever fucking makes you comfortable. But to be honest with you, I wanted to be wearing like cute, like matching set leggings and sports bra. Like I wanted to be wearing those things. And for me, it was not even a confidence thing in my own body. For me, it was, I went to private school and there was a lot of pressure in private school about like dressing too revealing and like your skirt's too short kind of shit. And so I was really afraid of like wearing a sports bra and leggings to the gym and like having other people think that I was like a slut, you know, which is a crazy fucking thing to say, obviously. Like, nobody, like, what? There's so many fucking women wearing sports bras and leggings to the gym. It's very, very normal. But it was kind of, for me in my head and where I came from, I just, like, I had a very hard time with it. Like, I had a very hard time seeing myself in a tight leggings and a tight sports bra and, like, not thinking that about myself and thinking, like, oh, you look, you know, like, thirsty, desperate, whatever. And that was something that I had to work through, was like how I talk to myself through what I'm wearing and judging myself through what I'm wearing and being too much or too little or too extra or too revealing or whatever the fuck. And like it took me in college is when I finally was able to make this change to like wearing things that I honestly am more comfortable in. I don't like, if you work out in a loose t-shirt, fuck it up. Like, wear whatever the fuck you want. For me, I didn't really like the loose t-shirt because it was like too loose and flowy and it would like, I don't know. I just liked having stuff that was tight to me because then it didn't like get caught on anything or whatever. I don't know. That's how I like it. And it took me a minute to be able to like confidently wear that to the gym, like a long fucking time. And so that's why I hate this fucking bullshit of, oh, if you dress like that, you better expect stares, because it took me a long fucking time to get confident and comfortable wearing that shit. And now that I do, I don't want to hear any bullshit of like, oh, it's my fucking fault if some dude's being a creep. Like, of course there's always going to be fucking creeps at the gym. It is what it is. It's kind of just like, you know, obviously but that doesn't like excuse the behavior, for one. And for two, what we're not going to do is put the blame on women. It's just not what we're going to fucking do. We're not going to be like, oh, since she's, you know, curvy and she's got these tight ass leggings and she looks amazing, you know, like, sorry, people are going to be creepy to you. Like, of course, yes, that is going to happen, but we don't excuse the behavior. And men should be ostracized for that behavior. Like, if you had some interaction with this, like, you're in the gym and you see this girl who, you know, is just in a fucking leggings and fucking sports bra per usual, and this guy is like explicitly staring at her and being creepy to her, I should hope that in that situation you're like, oh, she was asking for it. Like, I should hope that you know, would be like, dude, quit being fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, again, yeah, she looks beautiful. Yeah, they're always creeps, though it's not her fucking fault. And I think personally, I feel really strongly about this because I do believe that's the gateway. That's the snowball effect that, like, okay, well, if we start blaming women for what they wear, that's when it gets to sexual assault. And I guess I should put a trigger warning, but like, you know, when it gets to like sexual assault and things that are really awful that happen to women, like, that's where it started. Is like, that's when we were like, oh, well, like, you know, what was she wearing and all that shit. And like, I know it's a far jump to be like, you know, have a conversation about like, oh, well, what she's wearing, like, she just like expects stares. It's a far jump to, oh, well, her getting sexually assaulted. But like, again, it's linear. That's in the same fucking line is that's when down the road, like we build up this social stigma around like putting the blame on women of like, oh, if a guy's being creepy, well, you shouldn't have been wearing that. Like then when awful things happen to women, then we're like blaming women. And it's like, dude, well, you made it socially acceptable to be fucking creepy to women. So men kept going and pushing the fucking boundary of, oh, well, first they're just fucking staring, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no rules against staring. And then it's like, well, she shouldn't be wearing that. Well, okay. Now then one day he's just staring. And then the next day he's like following her around the gym. And then he's following her out to her car. And then something awful happens. And it's like, that's a snowball effect. Because from the very beginning, we said it was her fault. When at the very beginning, we should have been like, quit being a fucking creep. Like, obviously there's boundaries to this. You should be dressing appropriately in the gym. There's children there. There's high schoolers there, whatever. But like, a sports bra and leggings is appropriate for the gym. That's totally fine. And men should be able to keep their eyes to their fucking self. I actually was just telling a similar story the other day to somebody. I used to, we'll venture off here for a little side story really quick. I used to work at this ice cream shop in high school, and it was a male-dominated space. There was like, only men were allowed to work on the ice cream side. I was one of the first women hired on the ice cream side. And there was like this conversation of me switching and working or picking up shifts at the other store if they needed people. And the other store was the original, where the original owners were there. And basically it got back around to me that the original owners didn't want me picking up any shifts there. They didn't want me at that store. They didn't even really want me at the current store that I was at working in the ice cream side, because when you like, it was hard dip ice cream, and when you had to like bend over into the can and like scoop the ice cream, that the other boys working there, which mind you, we're in high school, these are like high school boys, would be like looking at me and like watching me bend over into this can. And that obviously set me on fucking fire, because, and someone, I told this story to someone and they were like, well, what like was the uniform? And I was like, why the fuck is that relevant? But it was jeans. I was in like jeans and like a polo was like the uniform. And I just was like, I was fucking irate, because I was like, if your fucking creepy ass like worker employees that you hired are staring at my ass as I dip into this fucking ice cream cone at fucking 16 years old, what lesson is that fucking teaching me? That it's my fucking fault if men are being fucking creepy? No. Why did you hire creepy ass fucking boys? Now, the person that I was talking to was like, I mean, true, but also like, where are you going to find high school boys that aren't fucking horny as shit doing that shit? And I was like, I don't know, but that's not my fucking problem. That sure as shit isn't my fucking problem. Like, then maybe you should just hire all women and you wouldn't have this fucking issue. Like, I just was like, I don't know. That was like an integral experience at a young age where in the society was trying to teach me that it's my fault if men are being fucking weird. And it's just simply not. And it wasn't then, and it's not now. And it's the same exact concept in the gym. So I don't know. I felt really strongly about this because I think that women should wear whatever the fuck they want to the gym, be comfortable, get their fucking workout in, be fucking hot. And if men want to be creepy about it, they should fuck off, and they should not be creepy. And I think it's our job as a society to start to shift that narrative to like focusing on the men being creepy and not focusing on what the fucking girl's wearing. Because like I said earlier in this fucking episode, curvy girls, they like, society makes them out to be slutty in anything because they just have like a fucking hourglass. They just can't like barely put their fucking tits away because they're just big. Like, it's literally like, that's just what their body looks like. And they're over here like, okay, so I just have to fucking cover up everywhere, which they don't even want to fucking cover up. Like, what if they don't? What if they're hot? And like, they wear a little tank top and all of a sudden it looks like slutty when she wears it, where me in the same top, it's not. It's like, there's just no fucking winning. There's no winning for women. It's just like fucked from the get-go. But that's just something that I wanted to get off my chest because I just was like, this needs to be talked about. Being a woman is fucking hard. That's for damn sure. But I think it's really important, and I take it really seriously as a trainer and an employee at a gym, the way that I talk about women and stuff, because we can slowly try to change this over time, or at least like make a change in our environment and try to cultivate at least a gym space that is safe for women and unsafe for creepy men. Like, truly, that is what we should be cultivating here. So I try to be intentional with how I talk about those kind of things and what I put out there into the world, especially as a trainer. I feel like it's more responsibility for me to take that kind of stuff seriously, because last thing I want to do is like make a girl feel like some shit's her fucking fault, because it's not. It never fucking was. It never is. when men are being fucking creepy. So, yeah. The shit that we're working on this week, though, is going to be like changing the way we talk about other women in our heads. We're going to work on that jealousy thing this week and kind of just catching ourselves. And like I said earlier, when you have a thought that's a little bit nasty, which we all fucking do, don't even act like you don't. I certainly do. But just catching yourself and literally, and I address myself by name. I'm like, Amber, shut the fuck up. You're just being a mean girl. You're just being jealous because she's pretty. And that's what it is. And that's truly like usually why girls are being mean is because they're jealous. And we can all fucking relate, but we can all actively try to work to be better too. Because we got to be a fucking girl's girl here. And actively work to cultivate a space that's comfortable for us all. We got to be on the same fucking team here. So that's what we're working on this week. Shit that I'm wondering this week. Do you stress about what to wear to the gym? Or just out and about in general? Do you stress about what you wear and like how other people will perceive you if you're being prude or slutty or too much or overdressed? Is that something that you kind of, I don't know, struggle with or think about? I still struggle with this today. Like even just like the like being too much thing. That's why I love LA though, because the vibes here are very different than the Midwest. And the vibes here are very like, you're never too much. You're never fucking too much. The outfit's never too much. It's never too loud. It's never too pink. It's never too wear whatever the fuck you want. And I love that here because that's something that for whatever fucking reason in my head I struggle with is like what people will think of me. Like it would really stress me out if someone said to me like, you seem a little overdressed. That would like really, really stress me out. But I'm working on it and I'm working on not giving a fuck and wearing whatever I feel comfortable in as well. That's for sure some shit we're fucking working on. But let me know how you feel if you stress about that. And if so, do you let that dictate what you wear? You know, do you let that kind of dictate, the decisions that you make and the clothes that you wear and what you wear to when and whatever the fuck? Because I do. I do let this dictate what I wear, but I'm working on it. I'm working on like when I get dressed and then being like, I feel like I'm overdressed. It's just a Wednesday, like whatever. I'm working on having that internal dialogue of Amber, never too much. It's never too much. Wear whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter if it's a Wednesday. Like it's not that serious, nothing's that fucking serious. So that's the shit we're working on this week. Being a woman is fucking hard. If you want to hear more from me, you can follow my Instagram at Amber Meisner with 2 R's, my TikTok at Amber with 2 R's. Sorry, at Amber Meisner with 2 R's. See if I fucking even remember my handles here. But I'll see you in the next one, okay? Because being a woman is fucking hard.